Right, I'm going to start with talking a little bit about my background. So these three logos are the first half of my CV, I think. I love answering big questions with technology. When I worked at Tesco, one of the world's largest retailers, the big question I was asking there was, what's the most efficient way to deliver groceries to customers' homes? Tesco delivers 1 million orders a week. That's billions of items a year that need to be picked and delivered. And I help re-engineer their algorithms with smarter routes and better data to save millions of euros a year. The coolest thing I did when I worked at Google wasn't in search, it was in healthcare. The question I was asking then was, how can we improve care we give to patients with acute kidney injury in London hospitals? From the moment a pathology test machine can detect a spike in creatinine in your blood, which is a marker for your kidney failing, it takes London hospitals 12 hours to get a doctor to your bedside. We got that down to 12 minutes by introducing mobile phones, push notifications, and removing pagers and fax machines. And with machine learning, even better, we were able to go from 12 hours to 12 minutes to 48 hours ahead of time. We could predict acute kidney injury in patients before it even happened. And that makes it possible to change healthcare, to go from being reactive to being proactive. And lastly, I worked at DeepMind, which is the world's most advanced AI company. And the big question there was, how do we get 1,000 machine learning engineers to work on the same problem at once? And that's building intelligence. And what we did was we created a graph and a product that brought together people, data, research, compute, agents, and experiments. And that product, internal product at DeepMind, became smart enough to recommend papers for each individual researcher to go and read. And that increased the serendipity and the pace at which we did research at DeepMind. Okay. I joined Carta to help them build better products. We're a digital consultancy, and we help some of the biggest companies in the world solve their big problems, like digital transformation. We have an office here in Pristina. We were delighted to partner with Fracton, and the office around the corner is full of talented people, and we're already working on products together. At Carta, because we work across so many clients and so many industries, hopefully we have a little bit of a unique perspective about what's important and what's coming next. So I want to share a little bit about that with you now. I want to start by talking about intelligence. Intelligence means different things to different people. It can mean planning, problem solving, creativity, to understand complex ideas and to learn from experience, and not just in a narrow sense. Clearly, there's a spectrum of intelligence, and amongst biological things, we put humans at the top of that. We learn how to make tools, how to write things down, how to domesticate animals and plant crops, and all of human civilization has been created by intelligence, and that demonstrates its power and the breadth of its potential application. Okay, so for a city and an event so focused about the future, forgive me for talking about the past for a moment. In the 40s and 50s, Turing and von Neumann started to design general-purpose machines. They separated instructions from processing and hardware from software. And by doing that, they created computers, theoretically, that would be able to do anything. So it was an exciting time, and people started to ask the question, are computers going to become intelligent? Are they going to develop their own intelligence? Then, in the early 60s, the pioneers came to a crossroads. At a time when computers were still huge, primitive, batch calculating machines, the future was still really bright. People still thought we were going to create intelligence inside a machine. And many were sure we'd be able to do that quite quickly, and we would enter the age of intelligence. And the age of AI, or artificial intelligence, as Licklider defined it, was everyone having access to a mechanical brain that was more powerful than their own and capable of doing everything. But the timeline for it was uncertain. And one of the best things Licklider did was propose that it was at least 20 years until we would get to intelligent machines and the age of artificial intelligence. So he proposed, unlike some others, that we should invest some time in working out how humans and machines can work together. So he proposed spending 5 years to crack all of the big problems that would enable that to happen, including things like real-time computing, human-computer interfaces, graphical user interfaces, peripherals like keyboards and mice. We hadn't cracked that yet. And he invested in it to great effect. He funded research with Douglas Engelbart and others. And by the end of the 60s, they made something which will feel familiar to us. And in 1968, they did an amazing demo of something that looks really close to Google Docs and collaborative software. And they had to invent the mouse and the graphical user face and everything to get there. So, did we get to the age of artificial intelligence that Licklider and others hoped we would? Have we got to truly smart machines? Well, yes and no. Software is eating the world, and machine learning is starting to eat software. It's really good at certain problems where you've got lots of data and you've got a clear goal. But we haven't made much progress on general intelligence. DeepMind has made probably the best steps to date in that direction, from AlphaZero to MuZero, an algorithm or an agent that can play chess, shogi and Go and Atari video games to the world's best human level, and it can also compress videos on YouTube. That sort of generalization and an agent that can do many things is incredibly hard. And they've made the first step towards that. But it's safe to say we are nowhere near coming to an age of artificial general intelligence. And so that begs the question, what's coming next? So if the last decade was about bringing business and technology together, the next decade is about becoming intelligent. Intelligence is the differentiator for the most successful businesses, both from the operation side and the customer experience. Intelligent experiences, those which are frictionless, personalized, and high value, have shaped the most powerful brand stories. From Google and Amazon to Netflix and Instagram, they have used data to create irreversible shifts in behavior and expectations. Data drives every elite user experience on the planet. Netflix provides everyone with a tailored experience. When you step through that door, you see a different product to everybody else. The rise in consumer desire for seamless, personalized experiences has also driven up investment in data. So any inefficiencies in your technology or experience that stand in a customer's way will cause them to go elsewhere. In this new age of intelligence, every customer moment counts, from acquisition to retention. So Google is pretty good at this, but what is behind that search box? What's behind that search box is 100,000 engineers, many of them trained in machine learning, thousands of designers, Google have 1 billion petabytes of data. They lay cables under the ocean to connect their data centers together. They've got data from 2.5 billion Android devices. And that's quite daunting. And it sounds impossible that a normal company would be able to replicate such an intelligent experience. But getting there isn't as hard as you think. Data platforms are now becoming more accessible than ever. Google and others are opening up their infrastructure. The tech world is open source. We share our methods and our approaches. And at K&C, we found a reliable and repeatable approach to creating intelligent experiences. So let's have a look at what that's like. An intelligent experience is powered by data. Utilize your greatest asset. Move from guesswork to considered decision-making, so you're no longer shooting in the dark. You need to use the right technology to create a seamless, omni-channel organization in service of your colleagues and your customers. You need to understand the humans behind your technology. Your choices should drive you Your choices should drive you to more fluid experiences that make the most of your data. You need to use the entire end-to-end experience to generate maximum customer value and loyalty. Set new expectations, don't just meet them. An intelligent experience is better by design. You can find the moments that matter to your business and your customers. This is Current Health. They're a client of ours, and they're on a mission to deliver world-class care at home. Their app enables patients to get care from anywhere. So it's a mobile app paired with peripheral devices, and that enables patients to take and send their vital signs to doctors. Doctors can set patients' tasks, can chat with them through the app, through video calls or direct messaging, and send prescriptions via post. And that means for some patients that would otherwise have had to spend days or months in hospital, they can get their care from home. And for them, that's life-changing. So, how do you build an intelligent experience? Your intelligent experience starts with a zoom out to see the full picture. We start by taking an overview of your entire ecosystem. We look at every touch point and every part of the customer journey, from acquisition to retention, so we can target the specific area that will have the biggest impact. We then collect all the data you need to make informed decisions. We instrument your entire organization, and we build an intelligence hub with front stage data from your customer and backstage data from your business and your operations. There we go. And then finally, we identify the moments that matter. Companies operate in complex adaptive systems, so you need to highlight the high leverage points at which you can intervene. Lexus are a client of ours. We've worked with them for 20 years, and we are guardians of their European digital estate across 40 countries, and we support them with new product launches. They're a Japanese company, obviously part of Toyota, and they have a famous mindset. Kaizen, which is about continuous improvement, and Omotenashi, which is about anticipating customer needs. Those two mindsets are kind of perfect descriptions about what we imagine the intelligent experience of the future to look like. So at Lexus, we mapped the entire funnel, and we instrumented the entire funnel from the front stage to the back stage. And we learned that car purchasing can be a consideration for 3 to 6 months. And the handoff between things like the configurator and the dealership need to be incredibly slick for it to work. We also realized that the showroom experience was so much more powerful than the online experience. And so we worked really hard to bring the showroom to the customer, and we used head tracking technology in 360 OpenGL so you could actually sit inside the car and feel it. This is my favorite case study from Kin + Carta's history. We collaborated with Corteva. Now they work with farmers, and they supply them with everything they need, from seeds to pesticides to digital services. And if you're a farmer, understanding the yield, understanding what's happening with your crops is incredibly important. And we collaborated with Corteva to create a new digital app that paired with a drone. So the drone brings a bird's eye view, and it sends image and location data back with precision and speed. And it takes minutes to do a field survey, which would otherwise take hours, and reduces the amount of time of that assessment by 75%. The app then provides that information to farmers in a way that's easy for them to understand, and it helps them spot problems early, like diseases and pest pressures. And it makes it possible to act early, and doing so can save an entire harvest. There are now 800 Corteva drones in the sky doing this at the moment. But we also looked at taking data from the ground. We built a corn yield estimator, bear with me, that brought machine learning and a machine learning model developed by Corteva to the hands of the farmers. And it helped improve the speed and the accuracy of yield estimates in the field. Now a grower can literally snap a picture of corn in their hand, and the app combines that information from the image, passes it through the model, and mixes it with satellite imagery to provide an instant yield estimate. But we learned that farmers are often without internet, still good? Without internet connectivity. And so we use TensorFlow Lite to do the machine learning on device. So powered by data and better by design. So how do you start? Well, you could call Fracton, and we'd be happy to help. We've got hundreds of superstars in the region, and we're more than 2,000 people as Kin + Carta across the globe. Or failing that, here's some tips for how you can get started on building your own intelligent experience. The intersection of the disciplines is where the magic happens. You need EQ and you need IQ in your team. Intelligent experiences often require a team to go to new places to stretch what they're comfortable with doing. So you need to assemble a team of people who can take you somewhere new. We always recommend to clients that they start with a thin slice of value. So you can find, like, you can't make every part of your experience intelligent. So you need to find that place to start and build out from an MVP. The thin slice lets you deliver something quickly, and so you can test a hypothesis and move in the right direction. And lastly, we recommend creating a continuous loop of improvement. The build, measure, learn loop is something that few companies get right. The speed at which you can move around the loop is the speed at which you can improve your customer experience. And where we see companies get this wrong is they don't take measurement seriously. They don't analyze the data from their products, or they do, so they measure and they instrument, but that data goes to dashboards, and those dashboards go to executives, and those executives go to quarterly meetings, and in those quarterly meetings they change OKRs, and then those OKRs feed back to the product team. That's too slow. This needs to happen in days, not in quarters. So there are tips for creating an intelligent experience. It's been a pleasure to share my thoughts on intelligent experiences with you, but that's it from me. I'm around today if you have any questions. Thank you.